Let's talk about becoming your best self in 2024 and becoming that girl. Now, I know that every single year we set New Year's resolutions and we truly hope that we're able to achieve them by the end of the year, but sometimes we get 2 months in, 4 months in, 6 months in, and we haven't even stepped into a single one of those habits or goals or achievements, and we start to feel really disappointed with ourselves. And I think becoming that girl and becoming your best self starts from reflection. And I think that's a big step that loads of us tend to miss out. We tend not to think about why things didn't work out for us the year before or the month before or the week before, and we just enter a new week with renewed intentions, which of course is really good. But if we don't know what we're going to do better or what we're not going to do that we were doing previously, we're not necessarily going to end up successful or becoming the person you want to become, because we don't actually know what we want to get rid of. So in today's video, I want to speak about how to reset, how to become your best self in 2024. And none of these things require you to go out and spend any money or spend much time. It's just a matter of really honing in your kind of reflection, thinking about what you want to do next year, thinking about what you want to achieve in 2024 and how you're going to get there. So let's start off with self-reflection. Like, one of the biggest contributing factors to, I would say, being successful is actually reflecting and knowing what you've done well and what you haven't done well on. You want to think about, firstly, any past achievements or challenges that you might have faced. So with achievements, think about whether you had any challenges, how you overcame them, or if you haven't achieved something that you wanted to, what were those challenges? And do you think that you can overcome this in 2024? You also want to reassess your values and your priorities. So with self-reflection, this is so important. Going into a new year, you want to think about whether what you were chasing last year is really what you are passionate about. That could be maybe something that you're studying or something that you're working, a career, or even money thing, like financial things, or even physical things. Does chasing those physical things impact your day-to-day life? And should that be a priority? Should that be something that you value? If not, then maybe you need to reconsider trying to maybe just change up the way that you are approaching your day-to-day life and the goals that you have. And the last thing I like to do when I self-reflect is really think about gratitude and being grateful. If you're religious, then this may be a practice that you do quite regularly. Then you can be grateful and point that gratitude towards what you believe in. If not, you might want to think about being grateful for your everyday things. So grateful for being in a country where you have clean water and sanitation and food, and pointing those gratitude towards those types of things. When you incorporate gratitude into your everyday life, you genuinely are happier, especially recently with things that are going on in the world. It has made me hyper aware of how privileged I am. So even things as basic as taking a shower, every single day when I take a shower now, I never used to think about it, but now when I take a shower, I genuinely just stand there for a few seconds and I think I am so grateful for this, because this is something that people in other parts of the world, or even people where you are, people in London can't afford to turn the heating on, turn the lights on, have food in their fridge. So it isn't even like it's that far-fetched from where you are. So by being grateful, I genuinely feel like it makes me a better person, and it makes me happier, and it makes me know that, yes, I might not have reached X goal that is really big, but actually I've got things that other people are dreaming and praying for. All right, the next thing is goal setting. So to reach that goal, to be that person you want to be, then you have to have some goals that you've set. This could be goals that you've written down at the start of the year. I like to do like a whole year plan with like personal goals, social goals, financial goals, family goals, religious goals. Like, I like to have all of that set out, but it's really important that you have some sort of system where you're writing down those goals, so you have something to refer back to. And actually, at the end of every year, I go back and look at the start of the year goals, and it feels really good to look at some of them. Other ones I'm like, I didn't quite get there, but actually it's quite nice to look at it and think, you know what, I did achieve that this year. And look at future me now. If I saw myself 12 months ago, I'd be so proud of where I am. So it's really nice to have those things written down. Loads of people at this time of year like to develop a vision board, and I personally don't really do vision boards. I think they're a little bit they're not really my style. But if you like, you can get pictures of things that you want to manifest and put them onto a vision board, have them as your screensaver on your phone. And that could be a nice way to kind of remind yourself of the things that you want to achieve. I personally find vision boards to be quite materialistic, personally. There'll be like bags and shoes and holidays, and that's not really what I'm chasing. But if those things are important to you, then put those in your vision board. And if that helps you work harder and reach your goals, then that works for you and go for it. The next thing that you want to think about to be your best self in 2024 is what you want to develop personally. We've spoken a lot about achieving goals in terms of financial or academic or work career goals, and that's all great, but how are you going to develop yourself personally? Like, what are you going to say that you've done in 12 months that you might not have done otherwise? So a lot of these things I like to think about are things that do not give me any monetary value, and I'm really intentional with this because I find that a lot of my life and a lot of the things I do are working towards goals, university, graduating, work, this and that, and I find that I have to be really intentional when it comes to developing myself outside of that. So some of the things that I've done in the past, I've taken horse riding lessons, and yes, they're expensive, but I was like, you know what, this is something that I don't have any pressure on to succeed. I just want to enjoy it. Just before COVID, I did almost a year of it, and I actually really enjoyed it, and it gave me the satisfaction. There was no pressure to do well, and I just really enjoyed myself, and I want to pick it back up again now that things have calmed down. You also might want to think about personal development, like when it comes to habits, so like healthy habits, so like diet, fitness, and those are all things that are going to make you a more healthy person, so you'll be happier, you'll feel better within yourself. Within the exterior comes from the interior, so all of that needs to be thought about when it comes to being your best possible self. Remember that if you want to cut out procrastination, if you want to sleep better, if you want to be able to move around easily, you need to be eating well, because if you're not, those things are going to clog up your system and slow you down. So it all comes in as a package when you think about being your best self. You also have to think about what you're putting on in the inside of you. And the last thing when it comes to personal development is mindfulness and slowing down, so mental health. And this is a key thing. Lots of us don't really think about this and just take our sanity and like good mental health for granted, but actually it can take something really small to flip. And that's why it's really important that you're just taking time to be a bit slower, be more intentional, and really just taking time to cut out the noise and find time where you're able to slow down and just reflect, ponder, and just be within yourself. Another thing that I like to do to help me be my best self is to check in with myself quite regularly and to celebrate my achievements and my milestones. Now, when I say achievements, I don't mean like a big achievement, and that was something that I used to do in the past, and I found that it really held me back because I wouldn't celebrate the small things, and so I'd wait for something big to happen in terms of achievement, and therefore I wouldn't celebrate myself that often, even though I did so much. So I have now this year especially, and that's what I'm taking into 2024, is I'm celebrating the small things. I get some really good feedback for some work that I did, that's a celebration, I'm going out for lunch. Like, it doesn't matter how small it is, I want to celebrate myself, and if you don't celebrate yourself, who will? And that's something that I really have found that actually, the more I'm doing it, the more I'm able to achieve. The happier I feel, the more I want to kind of snowball that success. If I'm not celebrating myself until like 6 months, let's say, I haven't felt that feeling of happiness and success and contentment for 6 months. Whereas if I'm celebrating myself every couple of weeks where something small might happen, but actually it's like tap in the back, that is going to make me want to continue to build on that success and build on that celebration to get to the point where I'm like, I'm celebrating myself all the time and I deserve it. You don't have to go out, you don't have to spend money. You can just give yourself half a day off, or just do something nice for yourself, or do something that you might not have done otherwise, just to give yourself that little pat on the back. And the last thing that I like to do to get myself to my best possible place is to build a support system. And this really means where you're able to get people around you who are your accountability partners, those that can help you reach your goal, sit down with them, build vision boards with them, think about and discuss your goals with them, tick those goals off as you achieve them, share your wins. It's being able to share my win with someone else gives me an element of like happiness as well. When I achieve something, I can go to a friend or I can go to someone that I'm close to and be like, guess what happened? This happened. And it just feels really good to share that success. And if you have that support system there where you're able to do that and they can do that for you, that's, I feel like, a really nice way of getting yourself to the point that you are really proud of. And remember to be compassionate with yourself and to be gentle on yourself. You need to be kind to yourself, speak to yourself with kindness. You're not going to be the best you if you're not kind to yourself. So that's my number one thing that I would say taking away from this is it's all great to have all these achievements, but if you're not kind to yourself, then what's the point? I hope you found this video helpful. These are some things that I'm going to be doing this year and that I'm taking in from 2023 to get myself to the point where I'm even better than I was last year. And let me know what you guys are doing. How are you preparing for the new year? How have you prepared for the new year? What are you doing differently this year? I'd love to know. And I will see you in my next video. See you later. Bye.